take this mask out. Dear Frank, Dean of ESCP Business School, dear Leon, Dean for Academic and International Affairs, dear guest speakers, dear member of the Executive Committee, which are here today exceptionally, and dear students, dear colleagues, all staff, welcome to the 2021 ESCP Turin Campus opening ceremony. I've been counting all the time how many ceremonies we have done. You know, the school is over 200 years, but the Turin Campus is rather young. But this is the 18th opening ceremony. And I'm very proud that I've been around for 17th of them. So the first thing I want to say is that I'm very happy that eventually, after 1 year of doing this event online, we managed to be all together. So we hosted in presence. Second thing I want to say is that this year, the Turin Campus welcomed 560 students on site, plus another 107 who are attending classes online. You represent, dear students, 45 different nationalities, and 60% of them are non-Italian. So a very high degree of internationalities. My first message is definitely to you, my dear students, because in the past month, you showed a very high degree of resilience, drive, and passions that made you overcome many difficulties, many challenges, among which probably a lot of you remember the admissions to our prestigious institutions. So please join me in congratulating all the students that today, for the first time, are entering ESCP Business School, especially for their stamina and excellence. Well done. So we now have a video message from our president of the Turin Campus, Professor Francesco Profumo, who couldn't be here with us for the first time in history. He has been president, because he's chairing one of the G20 meetings that are hosted in Italy in these very days. So he's very sorry not to be here, but there is a video for you to watch with his welcome. So I asked the direction to put Profumo's video on. Thank you.
Dear students, welcome to ESCP Business School. Dear students, welcome to ESCP Business School Torino Campus. This opening ceremony of the new academic year perfectly embodies our business school's traditional close collaborations with important international and innovative companies who believe and invest in the new generations. First of all, I would like to thank the guest speakers. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and experiences with the ESCP community. Your speeches, life and career choices will be regarded as examples worth following by our young talents. We are grateful to have you here on this special occasion. Dear student, your choice to study in the international and multicultural environment of the ESCP is a stepping stone in your future career and personal development. You are the managers of tomorrow and key players for the future of Europe and the planet. ESCP believes that in a world defined by the economy, the business sphere can play a central role in reorienting how this world evolves. For us, it's essential to nurture and support a new generation of collaborative, multicultural, innovative, and responsible leaders able to face the technological, environmental, and social challenges of today and tomorrow. This new academic year will be full of exciting and sometimes tough challenges. You will meet new people and have invaluable and intense experiences. You will train through an interdisciplinary approach, merging theory and practice. But foremost, I hope it will be a year of outstanding growth that will enrich you both professionally and personally. Congratulations on beginning an important new chapter of your life here in Turin. Thank you.
Dear students, I'm very, very happy to be here. I said it already, but unfortunately last year I couldn't be even broadcasting, live my welcome because of a little bike accident, and I fully recovered, don't worry. My personal assistant told me the week before the opening, please do nothing, no sports, stay at home. Because I have a little history of dangerous sports that led me to some injuries. But yes, besides that, it was really coming back to a place like that. We've been here 2 years ago. It was full of students, 400 students. And it was the first time that we were doing the opening outside the premises of the school. And it was a huge emotion. And now I feel the same, I would say even higher. The emotion is really high to me. You probably can tell it from my voice. But going to the topic of this opening, it's about innovation. We wanted to give a topic of innovation for this opening. 2 years ago, when we were all here, it was sustainability. And last year, we talked about choice. And I think they're all linked together and are very relevant, this free topic, with the challenges we're facing today and that we will be facing in the decades to come. And in fact, we are living difficult periods, as you know. And one of the key words that probably we heard the most in the last years was crisis. Probably now we talk about the pandemic crisis. In 2008, there was the financial crisis, credit crunch. Then in 2011, we had the oil crisis. I think we're going to be approaching 10 years after another oil crisis. And many other crises, were witnessed by you and by us. But the point is crisis really such a bad word? The meaning is obvious, but I have to tell you something. I was talking with my wife. My wife did classical studies. I had some jokes with the Dean Bournois, because classical studies in Italy means studying Greek, ancient Greek, and Latin for 5 years. I did scientific studies, and it's Latin for 5 years, which is already a lot classic. And she reminded me that crisis derives from the old Greek word krisis, which means choosing, telling apart. It's not the meaning we are giving right now. So how come we ended up giving such a bad name to the Greek word krisis? Why? And I ask myself, is that when you need to take a choice, and the school is really close to the concept of choice since a couple of years, most of the time is about making tough calls, uncomfortable decisions. And this is something that is perceived as being bad. But we live in an age of turbulence. And this is not me saying it, was Alan Greenspan, a former chairman of the Federal Reserve, that in 2007 already was mentioning this, which means what? It means that in our age, in the last 20 years, even more probably, there is global overconsumption. We're using more resources than are ever, generated by our health. And we have a lifestyle of overconsumption as well. And last but not least, very important, there is social injustice. The gap between the rich and the poor is getting wider and wider. So in this context, and knowing that there's no way we can get out of taking decision because the pace of changes is so fast, we are doomed to take decisions, then we should turn the idea of crisis to the original meaning and make it like an opportunity rather than being a moment of despair. And the school really wants to inspire as much as possible the current and future choice makers, you guys, but also managers that are attending our executive MBAs and all kinds of alumni that come back to the school, because we want leaders to take the right decisions so that they can unleash innovation that can have a positive impact on the society. And that's the link, the thread, okay, that you can see, the red thread that you can see over the last 3 years. Taking decision, innovation, because innovation, as the economist Robert Solow demonstrated, is the only way that we can have to substitute natural resources with other sources, okay? So we only have hope if we believe in innovation, if we trust innovation, if we take innovative decisions. It doesn't have to be only technology. It can be many things. And having this in mind, I'm sure that today's guest speakers, who are seated just next to me, and not only guest speakers, they're also partners of the school. And we have Tatiana Rizzante, who is CEO and co-founder of Reply, Paolo Rinaldini, who is managing director at AlixPartner, Stéphane CLUZET, general manager Italy at Bacardi Group, and Elisa Crotti, who is managing director and partner at BCG, will share their experience and therefore inspire you, providing vivid example of decision, innovative decision that they had to take that really had an impact on their clients, on their organizations, on their stakeholders at large, so that you can get the kind of role model that we think it's important to follow to really foster this innovation spirit needed now that we want to go over the concept of crisis and get into the right decision making with the right impact. I want to thank all the guest speakers because of their commitment towards the school and of course for being here. And in certain cases it's a super long lasting commitment. In other cases is a more, let me say, a recent commitment, but in all of the cases is a super intense commitment towards our students. So thanks for being here and for your commitment. Then, after the speeches of the guest speaker, we're going to have a final address from our Dean, Franck Bournois, who will give even more food for thoughts. I really want to thank Frank for being here, coming from Paris, and there is also another story why he's here, is that after the pandemic, that we couldn't travel, we couldn't move, we couldn't meet in person, even as a member of the executive committee, Frank decided to host the first executive committee in person here in Turin. So it's a great appreciation of the work that has been done here, but also for you guys being here. So thank you, Frank. Before we start with the guest speaker, I would like to welcome on the stage, to call on stage, Professor LÉON LAULUSA, who can give you his welcome. Professor LÉON LAULUSA is also a member of the executive committee, but more importantly, he is the Dean for Academic Affairs. So he's the Dean of all the academic programs. Eventually, he's very, very, very close to all of you, and I'm sure he's very happy to be here and welcome you. So welcome again, and please, LÉON.
Dear Dean Bournois, dear Francesco, dear executive members, dear distinguished guests, dear colleagues, dear students, dear all. Ciao e tutti e benvenuti a Torino. I hope I pronounce well Italian. We are very pleased with our Dean Bournois and executive members to be here to attend the 18th opening ceremony for Turin's campus. And to all newcomers, very warm welcome, and also to those who are watching us remotely, very warm welcome. And to all returning students, we are overjoyed to have you back. We believe in life as in business, everything starts with choices, as we mentioned. And you made the perfect choice to joining ESCP. Why? Because our mission is to prepare responsible, purposeful leaders to design a better, fairer, sustainable world. This is important because our resources are limited, but as Dean RATTALINO mentioned, creativity, innovation is unlimited. And I will take the words that our Dean Bournois used to say from former President JFK Kennedy. He said, education and leaders are indispensable each other. And this is our mission. That's why everyone here in this room and our community and our professors, we are dedicated to one goal, ESCP exceptional fulfillment. First, academic fulfillment. Our outstanding professors, of course, in particular in Turin Campus, will provide you with the best academic experience. They will help you shape your own model of thinking to meet the challenges and the opportunities of today and tomorrow. Second, your professional development. It means your professional fulfillment. We have reinforced our career services offer to guide, to accompany you for your professional path. And we will boost your employability. And during all year long, you will have the chance to meet, to exchange with incredible personalities and leaders, like starting today with so many leaders, like Tatiana Risante, Paolo Rinaldini, Stéphane CLUZET, Elisa Crotti. And thank you so much to attend and to be present and to share your experience on leadership, because they will, thanks to you, our students will broaden, and we will broaden our leadership horizons. Last but not least, your personal fulfillment. ESCP is more than school. ESCP is a world institution, and you will embark on incredible social adventures. Thanks to our many sport activities and also student societies, like La Regatta. I hope that you have been there, but if not, We encourage you to be there. And also you will make lifelong memories, friendship, bondings. It means that they will shape your social, interpersonal intelligence. That's why I take this opportunity to thank all the members, our colleagues from Turin Campus, for these excellent organizations and these academic years to come. You understand that everyone here is dedicated to making your experience an ESCP exceptional one. So before I leave the floor, I encourage you to act ESCP, which means enjoy, succeed, create, and participate. Remember, it all starts here. Thank you very much.
Now I'll ask Tatiana Rizzante to go on stage and give her inspirational speech.
Hi, everybody. So, I'm leading a company which is called Reply. I don't know how many of you know it, but it's information technology, consulting, software company. So, we were wondering, a bit when we started working together, and it was 2005, almost when ESCP started in Torino, which was probably a year before. Yeah. So, as Reply, we started in '96, and I started working, well, a little bit, 1 year before, for TILA, which was a research center, and then I started with Reply. And now we do 1.3 billion of turnover, and we have roughly something about 6 billion of market cap. And we are in several countries, half in Italy, half around the world, so 11,000 people, something like that. A small company in our sector, so it's a good story. We enjoyed it a lot, but we are really a small company. BCG is much bigger, to make an example, which are much longer and established story. We are known for innovation, so, and we are kind of, the business community recognizes us the capability of continuous innovation. We just do digital, and we are made of like 150 companies specialized on very different sectors, from design to robotics, to fintech services, down to fulfillment for e-commerce and so on. So very diversified portfolio, all on the services industry. But, even if our job is to make innovation happen, and we are recognized to be innovative also in the business model, not just on what we do, it was hard because I have never worked for innovation. So honestly, if you ask me, I've never worked a single day thinking about, okay, let's innovate, what we do in terms of innovation tomorrow. No. So also because I'm an engineer, and an information technology engineer, it's not exactly the most innovative-oriented type of profile normally. Nonetheless,
Body the innovation. You don't have to think about innovation. Your company is the innovation. And,
Thanks. So, but this is to make you understand that when I was thinking about what to say about innovation, at the end I really believe that has some characteristic, one of which is never the end, probably, but most often is the mean. And when you're looking for innovation, you have some things that at the end you always have to bring with you. And this is somehow what I will try to transfer you with some of examples from our story and what I think it will come. So some of you were maybe at the Tech Week last week, one, so not many. Maybe you have read something, and if you have read something, you saw that the speech were about space, the speech were about, well, teletransportation, a little bit futuristic, about flying cars. They were about changing in, of course, energy and so on. And you know, this seems far, but I don't believe they're far away at all. Teletransportation maybe a bit. But I really believe that, for example, we will have flying cars in probably less than 15 years. And I'm a little passionate about this topic, and I started to, you know, work around it a bit, also with services and culture and creating how that means for us working on autonomous system, starting to work on drones and some projects around it a few years back. And just 3-4 years ago, when talking about flying cars, I remember just one person, maybe out of 20, was like, yeah, there is something there. Now probably we are like 12 out of 20. So already a completely different perception and percentage. Because we have a lot of projects around the world. So in every city where we have a capacity of building cars or planes, there are big projects to build the flying cars. You have it in Munich, you have it in a few cities in the US, you have it in Japan, you have it in India. That can be for industrial usage or passenger transportation. So why this is relevant? Because this is an industry which is starting, an ecosystem that is moving, a lot of technology that are coming into production and are continuously evolved thanks to this type of projects that are, if you want, keywords, deep tech projects, and so on and so forth. The fact that you think about flying cars is linked to the fact that we have developed autonomous driving. So then now we can think about flying drones autonomously, and so also driving cars autonomously. And this is thanks to the evolution of technologies in the electronic industry, together with the software industry, together with the cloud and the telecommunication networks. All these converge to make new things possible. And the fact that we have drones, flying cars, autonomous vehicles is redesigning the idea that we have of cities. So if you look in the newspapers today, you find projects like the Woven City by Toyota, or Neon City, or the new city they're building next to Los Angeles, I don't remember the name. So entirely new cities that are built on a new concept of transportation, of energy, of living, communication, the way we move goods, and so on. If you look, for example, at Woven City, they start from the idea that having an autonomous car is very difficult in the existing road landscape. So they imagine to separate the streams, green streams for pedestrian, bicycles, and so on, streams dedicated to autonomous cars, and so on. So one street becomes 4. And if you think about it, the streets are the same since Roman times, you know? So maybe it's also time that we change a bit. And they divide it in 4, and then they build this kind of net. This is very Roman. And then they, you know, move them a bit, design the building around it. The concept of crossing changes. The places are in different spaces. On tops of every building, you have a landing zone for flying cars or drones transportation and so on. And so they're designing and building a new different type of city. Neon City is different, 175 miles. We are doing a part of this design in the desert, built around an hyperloop with green technology to make everything green around. So all these is, again, a new ecosystem, thinks about the dimension of this project and thinks about how much of the technology and of the change they will drive. And you can say the same for the space initiatives and so on and so forth. So you're you are studying, you will come out in a world which is going at a pace that I think you really don't realize. I believe it's already fast for us. I believe that it will be incredibly faster for you. And that is your main challenge, you know, to learn in this year how to cope with a continuous changing and fast-changing environment, where to get deep and with profound competence, and where to question yourself and, you know, change and adapt and be fluid, which is a very difficult feat. I have a daughter that is your age. Hopefully she'll study this program next year, cross fingers. Of course, she's studying information technology. Not because of us, joking. And I know what I'm saying. So I believe that you are alive because you read it, but you really don't understand how really these changes will be impacting on the work environment you are getting into. If I go back to our 2004 was the year in which Facebook started. For you, it's ancient technology. And I remember that when we started, it was because Reply, that was 100 million euro at the time, was scaling up a bit, and we were deciding to, you know, to build a social network inside the company, to make knowledge flow and so on, because normal training models could not apply to a fast-changing world, because the time you get the training, it's old. And so with ESCP, we figured out a way of peer-to-peer teaching and a program in which people could exchange know-how, and some skills could become more consolidated, which is still alive. So still today, all our management is trained through ESCP executive programs. But I still really believe that this is start to be not for you, start to be not sufficient, and that whatever will be tomorrow, you can choose from tons of paths. Really, the innovation, disruption is everything you look at. It doesn't really matter which is the field, whether you're passionate about banks, fashion, cars. Maybe they want any of these items will exist in the future, or they will still exist with completely different model. So I am really envious of the path that you are starting to follow with this course. I believe that you'll get an incredible preparation, but my wish for you is that the thing that you learn is that you are not prepared. So with this, enjoy and good luck for your future.
Thank you, Tatiana. And then now I welcome Paolo Rinaldini on stage, Managing Director at AlixPartner.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you, Dean of the campuses. Thank you for having us here, and good afternoon, everybody. I'm Managing Director at AlixPartners, local market leader in the Milan office. AlixPartners is a consulting company who engages in critical situations and impactful projects. Our claim is when it really matters. But frankly, I wouldn't like to talk about AlixPartners, but I would like to try to give you some personal advice on your future career, which starts here, but then will develop in the marketplace, in the business place, and in your workplace. It's not an easy task in a few minutes, but I'll try. And so to me, there are three key elements that I would focus on. The passion that you put in the things you do, the innovation, and we just heard a vivid example of innovation, and the creativity you will be able to put in the things you will be doing, and your self-development, so the growth that you will be able to achieve along the whole career. So to me, the passion is really what moves most of the people and most of the successful people, I would say. So passion is something that I would say it's the real fuel for the engine and will enable you to get to exceptional results. It's also true the opposite. I never saw exceptional results coming from people that are not passionate. And this means that I would advise you to focus your efforts in the fields that you are naturally inclined to, in the things that you are really passionate about, in the things you believe you're going to succeed better. And if you do this, you will be most likely able to do exceptional things together with other passionate people and have fun in doing it and achieve those results in an easy way, I would say. Passion is contagious. This is absolutely true in my work experience. You can build a passionate team around a specific passion, a team of passionate people, which can achieve really extraordinary results. Then innovation. I mean, I don't repeat the concept. You are young. You have been breathing innovation since you were born. You will continue to do so. There will be an acceleration on the innovation. That's part of your managerial toolkit. It's probably the fundamental part that you need to develop. If you are here, you choose the innovative academic career. You will be exposed to different languages, different cultures, different way of thinking. You will be exposed during your academic career to basic diversity, which brings you to creativity, enables you to be more creative, to find intelligent and new solutions, which are normally, in the real world, the ones that last and the ones that have better results. So the second advice would be to maximize your exposure to innovation and to creativity, to make this as a daily commitment for you. And then there's the third, which is the self-development. I mean, you're focused on your career now at the university. I think you should look at the future as a sort of marathon. It's not a sprint. I mean, it's a long run. So you need to plan, in my opinion, your moves, being inspired by your passion and leveraging your creativity towards a long-term objective. And to do so, you will need to learn every single day. I can tell you, I still learn every single day something new. So the ability to learn, to capture, especially at the beginning, but all over your career, the ability you will have to capture concept, ideas, and basically to learn and to capitalize the learning all over the trip, it's going to be the really relevant for your success. You can do choices. I heard previously we said. One choice is to choose your employer as the one where you personally believe you're going to learn the most. Another choice is to get along with people who can spend time and teach you, who can coach you. You can look for coaches or mentor in the company you're going to work for. And many companies have formal mentorship programs today. And to accelerate and to get the most, in my opinion, you need to be prepared to be outside of your comfort zone. So you need to look for challenges, you need to be open to challenges. This will accelerate your learning, you will capitalize much more, and you will be faster, a better professional. Last, today's world requires a lot of effort and a lot of teamwork. Teams win versus the single professional 10-0, there's no question. So I would encourage you, as you for sure are already doing here, at developing team skills and team working attitudes, because this is the way at which you will, again, capitalize your learning and obtain and achieve exceptional results in the future. And if you do all things together, in the end you will have fun and you will enjoy the ride. So thank you. Those are my few thoughts for you.
Thank you, Paolo, for giving us a little recipe for having fun and starting with passion. And passion is really the engine of success. And we shouldn't forget, it's not only working hard, but passion gives you the extra mile. And now I welcome on stage Stéphane CLUZET, Managing Director, General Manager Italy of Bacardi Group.
Thank you. So you say about toast. So we're going to talk about aperitivo now. Okay, so you have to wait still a bit. So first of all, I would like to thank everybody, so and especially ESCP for the invitation. So I mean, I was a student not so far ago. I mean, nearly 18 years ago. So I mean, I feel very privileged. So the second thing which I would like to say is, as students, you don't realize, but you are very lucky. You need to realize it every day, because you will have a lot of opportunities in front of you. And when I was a student, I was not realizing that. So really feel that. So learn as much as you can every day. In terms of leadership and innovation, which is what I'm going to talk about over the next 10 minutes. What I want to share with you is I am since 18 years in the spirit industry. I started as an intern. And if you count the years as a student, maybe you can add a bit more years. So I worked so far in France, UK, Switzerland, Russia, and now Italy. What I would like to say is what really matters is adaptation, wherever you are. So the way you speak in a specific country, the way you look at a business in a country can be completely different. And this is also in terms of innovation. I mean, just to give you a very concrete example, I tried to sell a French vodka in Russia. You can imagine, okay? So, but if you sell to a Russian a vodka, so with a French origin, they will tell you, you are a barbaro, okay? You are a barbarian. So the way to sell on that perspective is to sell it as a luxury icon. And then you open the door. It means that each product, each market has a different language. And it will be very, very critical in your career that you constantly think about that. The thing which I would like to share as well is when we think about innovation, so you have to think in a concrete and emotional way. So you can see the product as a very tangible, but what will make the difference will be the emotional benefit. So when we sell aperitivo, so we sell emotions. And this is what is very critical. So when you think about business in the best way to innovate. So on that perspective, so it is a word of passion. So, and to your point, so passion makes a difference. This morning I was in the plant of Martini in Pessione. So I discussed with Beppe Musso, our master blender, Giorgio Castagnotti, the plant director. You cannot imagine. So they work in the company since nearly 40 years. You feel that in any bottle, they put a bit of themselves. And it does make the difference. The mindset makes a difference. Every day makes a difference. So this is critical to follow. The thing as well that you will have an opportunity because we talk about trends. So there are a lot of opportunities in front of us. So, and most of the times it's very difficult to be disruptive. Everybody say it. But I mean, based on my experience, 1 out of 10 innovation really works. Stay for more than 5 years. So it's very important that you believe in yourself, and you always follow your intuition. So if I take, for example, an example which I work with a vodka called Grey Goose. 30 years ago, in US, all vodka were at $15. $15 for vodka. A man arrived, said, you know what? I'm going to sell my vodka at $40. We are not talking a 10% price point difference. We are talking of more than double with a specific origin. And it works because the person was so much dedicated, was going bar by bar, explaining what is this vodka. And it became an amazing success. So he sold the company, a few years ago for $2 billion. Passion, dedication really matters, and believe in what you think is right. Innovation is a culture. You don't wake up one day to think, okay, I'm going to innovate on that way. You will have to test and learn. So practice and experiment. You will see sometimes, you will feel sometimes that nobody feels. You need to follow your intuition for innovation. And what matters related to the speed, for me, whatever the idea, execution matters. But what truly matters now is to make it fast. So success or failure, what matters is to learn as fast as possible. So this is critical. So because when you work in a corporation, so what you do, so you test on a small scale and then you scale up. And what matters is to learn. My key challenge with the team is to reduce the time of learning. If you learn for 2 years, it's gone, the trend is gone. So you need to have the maximum learning in 3 months in order to have a competitive advantage. So fast will be critical, and more faster we're going to be. Now, if I think about myself like you 18 years ago, so I would like to give you some advice, if I can, on that perspective. To your point, always look for uncomfortable zone. If you have a chance, work in emerging market. So it will completely blast you. So really look constantly for uncomfortables. You are young, you can take risk. It's not, it's not when you are, now I'm close to 40, so your ability to take risk is much lower. More you get older. So take risk, go for the uncomfort, because you will grow much faster. The second advice I would like to give you for students, don't look for courtesy feedback. You are all brilliant. You are all intelligent because you are here. You are all been selected. And all the time when you're going to make a presentation, everybody will say, yeah, fantastic. Don't go for that. Always think, yes, thank you very much. What can I improve? This question, all the time, try to have it in mind, because it will always make the difference going forward. One other advice I would like to provide to you is know yourself very well. I think that already now you know you can do and you cannot do. If one day, for example, you come at work, and this is what I say to my employees, if you don't come with a smile, don't come. What's the point? Life is short. Really do things that you really enjoy in your career. Last, in terms of question, which I would like to share with you is, when you have to make choice, ask yourself what you can really lose. You will realize in your life that probably you can lose 1 or 2 things. The rest will be always some things that you are just on the go. So, and last, enjoy your year. So, you have 12 to 15 months of studies. So, really enjoy your time. So, what I learned the most when I went to the business school, for sure the teachers were amazing, but the social interactions, the way you behave, the team dynamics. So, most of the time, which will make the difference in your career will be not the didactic knowledge, will be more your human intelligence, your emotional intelligence. And this is what you're going to build and learn as much as possible over the last 15 months. So enjoy your time at ESCP. So, and indeed, also enjoy a nice aperitivo later on together. Thank you.
Thank you, Stéphane, for sharing your memories as a student and wisdom, of course, and linking innovation to learning. That's not obvious all the time, but learning is really key when you want to innovate and you need to learn fast. Now I ask Elisa Crotti, Managing Director and Partner at BCG, to go on stage.
Good afternoon to everyone, and let me first start thanking ESCP to have me here. It's really a pleasure to try and share my views and my learnings during my career. Despite after everything you heard, it's not very easy, to be the last one. A bit of background of myself, so maybe you understand where I'm coming from. I lead the principal investors and private equity at Boston Consulting Group for Italy, Greece, Turkey, and Israel. What we are doing is supporting equity investors in all the stages of their work. So from when they have to decide what to buy and how to sell, but also in transforming and creating more and more value in their portfolio companies when they have it, the ownership, but also in their strategy and understanding where to invest, how to organize at best. And I have to say that thanks to this in my career, I was happy to meet a lot of leaders of different forge and different types and different nationalities. Thanks to the fact that most of the companies that I work with, that I partner with, or the funds, or the leaders, were ranging from, a 50 million company to a 10 billion ones. But I have to say that looking at all this variety, not only in terms of size, but also in terms of different industries and different geographies, there is a common path. And I'm really happy that, the topic of today is innovation, because it's exactly, I think, one of the recipes that I've seen for success. And what we mean for innovation, at least at BCG, is always on transformation, which means that it's not a step, it's not a quantum, but it's a continuous. And sometimes it runs in parallel circles. And as has been said many times, you will face this more and more. And based on my experience, I think that, there are two macro advices or lessons that I learned. Also looking at, many different leaders. The first one is to be open to change, and it seems something obvious, to be said like that. But it's not. And being open to change, it means also being open to put yourself into question, but also questioning the fact that you will need to learn every day and from everyone. From your boss, but from your peers, from the people under you, from the people on the street. This is what I think is the fundamental of what we call the lifelong education and learning. It's not only going to, the journey that you're starting today. This is a fantastic opportunity. I did it, unfortunately not in this school, and I apologize for this. I wish I could at the time. But but you will forgive me for this. You have to continue to learn in every moment of your life, and not only the hard skill, but even more the soft skills. How to interact with people, how you can get the best out of the community. This, I think, is something that your generation will face more and more. And you will have the opportunity to be more inclusive, more than for sure any other generation before. It will be great if in 10, 15, 20 years, as new future leaders, you could say, you know, we managed to bring the business to a much more inclusive culture, much more open to diversity, which in any way goes back to change or to openness of your mind. The second piece that I learned very much is to be flexible. And it's very close on what I just said, but on the fact that you need to be flexible to adapt to any situation. And again, is business, is what you're going to do tomorrow, what you're going to do in 3 weeks or in 10 years, but also is adapting to people and to situations. If I have to say, how you can apply change, learning, and flexibility to businesses, I see some learnings coming up, from my experience, which also, if you want, are stressed even further from this pandemic. This shift, this change, this innovation, and this space is here to stay. And hence, you will need to cope with it. Also, the way you create and you innovate and you have your competitive advantage as a person or as a business need to be more holistic, need to be taken everything into consideration as all the different ingredients. You will not be a one-off. You will need to cultivate this and to market yourself or your business every single day in a different way. You need always to start from customers. And this is the third point. Again, personally and as a business. No matter if you are a direct-to-consumer, you are a B2B, you are just in the research. You have always customers over there. And this is where you need to start to think what you want to propose them. Employees. You will be leader of the future. You will need to lead with a lot of employees. You will be an employer yourself, some of yours. You need to elevate them, to make sure that also for them, the lifelong learning, the openness, the flexibility is a must, is a push, but is also enjoyable. Don't wait. Act now. The pace is too fast to wait, and this will become more and more important. Let me close with a little example from my university, which I think gives you a bit of personal touch and why I think that openness to change and flexibility is important. Right after my high school, I was really ready to start my course, my bachelor as electric engineer. I was very convinced that was my choice, absolutely fantastic. Ready to start, bought some books, but by chance I got the possibility to talk to a friend of mine, a bit older than me, that was also in the engineering course. And after this conversation, I got it and I felt that that was not the path for me. It was tough. It was 15 days before the starting of the lectures. What to do? 15 days after, I started my course, and that was management engineering. And that was actually with a real focus on financial markets. Totally different change of path. And honestly, this has been the best choice that I did. It was not easy. I had to explain also, going back to my parents that were anyway, sustaining me to the university, to, changing cities and so on, that I changed totally my mind. But I did it, and it worked very well. So I learned to be open, and this is what I want to transmit to you. You're starting a fantastic path that will change your, for sure, personal, and for sure, professional lives. Be open, be quick, be curious, and you will do a fantastic career. Thank you very much, and good luck.
Thank you so much, Elisa, and also for sharing this kind of sliding doors frame of your life. And you need to be quick, yes. The pace is going to be very, very, very fast, so you need to take decision quick, and you need to take the right decision. But now I ask Dean Frambournois for his final address to all of you.
Thank you very much, Francesco. It's been a long time that you've been hearing those great speeches from great speakers with a lot of seasoned experience in leadership. And I'm going to do things very differently tonight. I had a few notes because I was, and my chief of staff, Roma, will know this, I was talking about growth and innovation. And the innovation is that I'm going to be doing things very differently because you inspired me, a lot of you did. You spoke about passion, you spoke about soft skills roles, and you've been also speaking about the need, I think it was you, Stéphane, who said it. You've been speaking about never being self-complacent and being in a state of a constructive insatisfaction, and that is always very, very strong. Tatiana, you were absolutely brilliant with your inputs and the relationship to technology, and Elisa, you were also very much into other skills, and I like Paolo's also comments on passion. At ESCP, innovation is at the heart of the school in a way, because, as you know, it was founded by a famous economist, Jean-Baptiste Say, who invented and coined the term entrepreneur. So entrepreneurship, in many ways, as Léon knows, we always say to students, goes with the DNA and the soul of the school. And you've got to know this because it's also very, very vivid. And with my good colleague Valérie Moatti, who's the Dean of Faculty, staff and faculty are always into something which is about the need, especially because ESCP is an old lady of 200 years. It has to, of course, throw itself into the future. And the future, this is also very much in your hands, because we need to predict it, we need to manage it, and the best way to manage it, of course, a lot of people said it, and this is how I took it, you manage it because you're able to create it, and it's in your hands. And I'm going to just say a few words because you inspired me, and I think it was Stéphane's ending of his very good inputs, and I wanted to share with you what it is. Maybe choose, and you said it also, Elisa, choose your boss, choose your peers. That is very, very important. And I think that choosing the way you're going to be living in a team is absolutely key. Being a team member can be, as you know, great fun, a great experience, as well as it can be hell. If you're joining a team with people who are looking down on you, if you're joining a team with people who are waiting for you just to let you go do and make you do what they would not do, sometimes happens. And what I know at ESCP is that we like to make you become apt, A-P-T, becoming apt at precisely becoming and being a great team member. Apt is APT, it has to do with action, it has to do with people, it has to do with thinking. And I think I was thinking as listening to you that there is a great man in the UK, a person. Sometimes, you know, scientists spend and dedicate a lot of their time doing always the same. But this guy, Meredith Belbin, maybe you heard of him, spent his whole life trying to understand what it is that there are teams and people in teams who fail repeatedly, and what it is that there are teams that work very well and develop all kinds of positive emotions. And at the end of the day, he found that we all have roles. We have roles that can sometimes be, as you were saying, on our business cards. People are director of sales, people can be head of innovation, they can be in all sorts of functional occupations. But what we all have, and they said it with their own words, and I really thank them for triggering this. They have said that in life, in teams, we all have roles that have to do with action, shaping the future, that have to do with implementing action, that have to do with finishing things. Because if you do not go sometimes into the details, you can be in great trouble. That's for action. We've been speaking also about people, and you said it. There are people roles. There's always the need to be an orchestrator, a coordinator. You need also to be a team worker, helping people who sometimes have troubles, and it's not just HR people who have to do it. And of course, in terms of people, you also have to get people who go outside of the team, who go outside of the company and monitor and evaluate what's happening outside and then bring back to you a lot of precious intelligence information. And then there are the thinking roles. We need to think, we need to be monitoring, measuring things a lot. We need also to be, in terms of thinking, you need to be a specialist sometimes in audit, in all sorts of activities. And then there is the innovator. And this is how I took it from you. And the innovator is very, very precious in a team. If you have got no innovators, it can be dull, you may not grow, it may be a lot of routine, and the company will suffer from it. Not just you as a person, but not just the team, but also the organization. Now, we also know that if it's a team of only innovators, and sometimes you have this, it can be fun, it can become very creative, but nothing will ever be done. Because they may be thinking in circles, they may be spending a lot of your monies, it may be just wow in reports and in meetings, but it needs to be done. And you need achievers who do it. These people are great innovators. They can be great because they have thousands of ideas. But if it's too many ideas, it can be difficult for others to follow. And of course, again and again, it's a bigger term in ESCP. It's about making choices, because you have, and we have limited resources. I can't remember who said that life is human and finite. It's for people who are looking at life expectancy, 33,000 days to manage, or 750,000 hours of life. And you need, of course, to make choices, and it's very, very important. And we love at ESCP to have innovators, but I also know, but because that is nature, that not everybody now is an innovator, because you may not be an innovator now, but you may become one in a long time. And it's also true that there are people who may be innovators now and that will go into such other jobs where this will be reducing. And this is the fun, and this is the greatness, and this is the beauty even of being a part of a community and being part of a team, because you develop. What is very key, and all that you said, is that what we need is diversity. Because there's nothing worse than, I say, a team that is not diverse. And maybe as a conclusion, and this is also what we like to do at ESCP, but the conclusion for that very part on the team and on innovation, the big conclusion is be careful. Never go always together, or if you are a manager, do not only interview people or take people or employ and recruit people that are just like you. Because it is a human tendency to try to get and work with people who you feel, he said or she said exactly what I would have said. They like or exactly what I like. We understand very well, we don't have to speak, but maybe these people are so much like you that after a while, they may not be so much bringing a contribution to the team. And it can be problems. It can be problems between number one and number two. It can be problems anyway. I really feel that at ESCP, we have that, and we was talking about it this morning again, we have that DNA of emotions and, as you said, making that management and leadership is a big story, a big story about being passionate and engaged and committed to organizations and to companies. And this is true whether you are working for a family business, whether you're working for a big multinational, and so on and so forth. Now maybe a concluding words for Turin, because it's true, and you were right in saying so, Francesco. There is this, which is so genuine, so authentic and typical in Turin. So true that we are going to go into a big and a bigger campus in the city center in Piazza San Paolo, and that is going to be for 2023. Is it a big secret that I am revealing tonight, Francesco? I hope not. And it's going to be an absolute moment of joy when we are going to be in that inauguration with you as guests. If you can commit to this, I would be more than happy. And I know that in all of your various activities, you're looking for not just talent, but very good talent, because what is important for these people is not just to have good managers, but also great leaders that are sharing the values of their companies and, of course, the expectations of clients. And in the private conversations that I have had with some of you just before we went into this room, was that, of course, talent is very much needed, but not any talent. Talent that have learned the basics of management and the fundamentals of company organization. But on top of this, of course, as you were all saying, this is why I have completely changed my speech. It has to do with exactly this notion of having recruiting talent with soft skills that can be expressed, seen, understood, liked, and sometimes loved by peers and team members. There is a lot to do, and just finish with a quote. I think it's by Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, saying that anyway, if you're about to innovate, you've got to prepare yourself to be misunderstood. But if you're going to be misunderstood, it also means that you need to explain and not just think that you have that right idea, but that right idea has to be implemented, shared, enjoyed, and celebrated. As much as we're going to celebrate tonight, your coming to ESCP, and I really am rejoicing about your presence of our great guests, presence of you all, of the Turin staff, and again a big tribute to, I'd like to pay a big tribute to Francesco, because he's orchestrating the development and the quality of ESCP in a way that is just absolutely admirable. Thank you all.
Before we close, of course, I want to thank the staff who organized this event. I'm not going to mention everybody, but just a couple of them. Valentina Tabacchi, where is Valentina? She's on this. Okay. There she is. And her staff, of course, Erika Brignola as well, who carefully managed all the guests. And everybody else, don't make me mention everybody. So before we go to the end of this opening, of course, I thank all the guests being here and sharing their experience. But since we value a lot the time you spent with us, we want to make sure you don't forget about this day. So we will give you a little present to have this day, this opening in your memories. Maybe every day in your office, you can put it on display. Here it is. Good. And my last word is definitely to you, dear students. Welcome again. Enjoy your time here in Turin. My door, the door of my office is always open, like the one of all of my colleagues. Should you need anything, you know that you can approach me. I guess that also the guests here can be approachable. They will remind you, they will remember you if you write them on LinkedIn or whatever, because they are committed to the school, and as well, all the deans being here are all open and here to support your development, because you made the right choice and we want to live up to your expectation. So welcome again and enjoy.